That's great. I'm happy to have you on the show this evening. We are episode 3,
Hmm?
and
Trace.
we're gonna get the show on the road here in a minute. Let's get some more taps up so we can get up to 1,000 likes, and then tired, ready for bed. Sean, I can understand that completely. And I'm gonna pour myself a drink here. I just don't know what I want yet.
Yeah, I thought about drinking some bourbon, but I don't know. I get too silly, and
I
I
hear you.
never know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, we gotta. We don't want to have to edit too much out.
Uh, I'm a feral one, Papa. You never know what's gonna come out of this mouth.
I understand that. I understand that. I'm just making myself an old fashioned real quick, so I have it ready to go. While we're up to 1.3. We're gonna get the show on the road here in a second. Peach Amsterdam. I'm sure it tastes pretty good. All right. Alrighty. So, like I said, we're on episode 3 of Bar Talks with Big, and I appreciate everybody coming in, everybody being here. We have Texas Dees here this evening. So I want you to, if you could, just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, real quick.
um. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I live in South Texas. I'm a
Okay.
boy mom. Hi, Dutch. I don't know. There's all kinds of
So,
things.
what are some of the things you have done? I know you're a dance instructor. What's up, Dutch? You're a dance instructor. You do hotshot trucking too, correct?
Yes, I do. Um, Choreographer. I have a balloon business where I do balloon arches and stuff like that. I'm a makeup artist. I do hair. I do pageant coaching. Um, I was running 3 dance studios up to this past year, and then I just retired from that company, and I'm starting my own dance company coming up in September.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're starting your own dance company in September, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. So take us a little bit on the dance stuff. I mean, do you do competitions, or um
I've
how
been
many
dancing
students do
since I
you
was
have?
2. I've been dancing for 35 years now. Um, I've been in competitive dancing. I dance for companies. I've danced in different shows nationally and international. Like I would perform at resorts and stuff. And my sister and I. And then for dance, I teach ballet, tap, jazz, hip hop, contemporary, modern, sometimes point. Um, and yeah, I haven't taken any teams on my own to competitions, but I have choreographed routines for teams to take to competitions like cheer squads, dance squads, stuff like that.
Okay. So if you could just explain what point is.
Um, well, it's like a shoe that's like cast
Mm,
with the plaster and stuff on the front and other materials, and you'll go all the way up on the tips of your toes. That's
okay.
point. Ballet is just like the regular slippers.
Now
Fun.
it is. And how
hmm
how long do the competitions usually last?
the dance season, or like the dance season, is from September to May. Competition season is usually from, I would say, February to like June. That's competition season. But um, I've taught in probably 13 different towns in South Texas or cities. And I've had like in a week, I would teach up to 250 kids a week. This past year, I downsized a lot. I went down to just one dance studio because I started doing hot shot, and I was teaching up to 50 kids a week. Well, 50 kids every Thursday. So,
Okay. So 50 kids, that's a lot. I mean,
hmm
what age range were these kids that you're
um, I would say right at 2 years old to 18.
So that must have been a handful.
Yeah. Well, like I have different classes per age group and stuff.
Correct.
But I don't know. The moms are a handful. The kids are great. I love the kids.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure they are.
Yeah.
So, so with choreography, take us down that road a little bit. What like we're gonna get to that in a minute, Samantha. Um, with the choreography, how much time does that take to actually come up with something to put
It
out for them
just
to do?
it just depends. Like been a traveling dance instructor. I would put a song in the play it in the car and I will choreograph the whole thing in my mind on the way to wherever I need to go, or I'll play music right on the spot in front of the kids and I'll choreograph something that quick. Now there's some songs where I'm like, okay, like it'll take me a little bit to like figure out what I'm gonna do, but it just depends what mood I'm in too. Like if I'm like in a good mood, everything was going good that day, like I can spit out dances like that. If I'm a little distracted and stuff, it'll usually take me a little bit while to get it done, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. What's up, Cambo? Um, so you also said that you did some acting too, right?
Yes. Um, right at the age of 15, my parents put my sister and I in acting and modeling, and we had our own agent and stuff out of Atlanta. And I'd done a lot of commercials with the acting, a lot.
Can you give us an example of a commercial you've done?
Um, Midas was one of the bigger companies I did a commercial for. You know the auto place or whatever, they have chains all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah, so I done that for a couple like hospitals and stuff like that. Different churches, I done commercials for them, and just like I don't know, just random businesses, you know.
So how was that at 15 trying to do the commercials and do that a little bit of acting that you could or you were doing? Not let me not discredit it. What how was it at 15 to try to get into acting and make sure you got it done right and along those lines? Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, with dance, I've kind of been acting my entire life, like a certain song, and then you have to portray whatever you're trying to get across to the audience and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So, like, I don't know, let's just say, like, The Mask. Have you ever seen The Mask with Jim Carrey? The
Hmm.
Cuban Pete,
Yeah.
like I've gone into different characters that way to perform some of these dances and stuff like that. So it was nothing. It's just a little nerve wracking and stuff. But with commercials and stuff, it's only a few people watching you do it, um,
Mhm.
versus dancing in front of a whole bunch of people, like on stage and stuff. So
Now, back to the dancing piece. How many people would you say average were there at a say a dance competition or a recital or something along those lines where there would be, you would consider a lot of people,
thousands.
thousands.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah,
where
I was invited to go to like I was part of the All American high kicking team in high school too, and I
mhm,
got invited to go do the Rockettes kick line camp and stuff for them in New York. Like my kicks were like right here. There's been a couple times where I've knocked myself out with my own leg. Like you just go in the momentum and stuff like that, and I mean I've nailed myself in the face pretty good.
wow,
But yeah,
yeah.
it was funny.
So how was that? How was that camp for, the Rockettes?
I it was pretty interesting. My feet would bleed a lot because it was nonstop, but I learned so much technique and stuff from them.
Hmm.
That I always wanted to be a professional dancer and stuff, but then once, like, I don't know, I turn 18, like, you kind of get in your head a little bit once you get older. Like, when you're younger, it's like so much easier to do stuff without even thinking, like, oh my God, who's watching and stuff like that. So I became like very self conscious and stuff, like, whenever I was 18, when it came time for me to go do that, you know?
Mhm. And that's understandable.
Hmm.
That is understandable. So, out of all the years of dancing, what would you say the biggest thing is that you had to overcome besides being self-conscious as you got older? But from a young age to about 18, what would you say the biggest thing is you had to overcome to get that done?
Um, Nothing. I was pretty dedicated. Like, dance has always been my life. My parents were really strict on me
Mhm.
growing up. My dad said girls weren't allowed to play sports, so I was never allowed to play sports or anything like that. So dance was the only thing I could do, and that's all I've known my entire life. I had a
So,
career change here this past year, but like other than that, like whenever I was like in between, like what am I going to do? I don't know if I'm want to keep on dancing and stuff. I can't continue to dance the rest of my life and stuff because it's too much on the body and whatnot. Like what am I going to do? And like I'm like I have no idea. Like I don't want to sit behind a desk. Like I can't sit still. Like I'm always like moving, 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 and I don't want to be inside where I'm like stuck in the office or anything like that. And so whenever I had this opportunity with this other job, like that's been the biggest obstacle transitioning into doing something else
mhm.
that I wasn't used to doing before.
So take us on that a little bit with the new job change. So that's where you transferred over to doing the trucking, the hotshot
Right.
trucking.
Yeah. And I mean, I've, my dad owned a recycling business and a transportation where, like, pretty much I was raised in the 18 wheeler, like, always going with him, unloading the loads and stuff with forklifts, those, fork jacks and stuff like that. And, um, I don't know, one of my friends that I went to high school with, he put on there, like, hey, we need someone to, like, escort this load. Does anybody have any experience? And I was like, well, yeah, I've moved stuff like yachts and stuff before with my dad, and I've had to like with the pole and like lifting up the wires for us to get under and everything else. Like I've done it before, like I can do it. And so they had me go ahead and do that. And then after that one time, like they're like, well, we want to hire you full time. And I'm like, well, if I do this full time, I'm going to have to resign from some stuff. And, me being a single mom, that's why I had all these different jobs to be able to provide for my children because they were all part-time jobs, and they were all part-time jobs because dance was my passion, and
Right.
that's only part-time. Like kids are at school all during the day until like 3:30, 4 o'clock, so I couldn't do nothing all day, and I would have to wait till like 4 o'clock, teach dance. I wouldn't get back home till 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I can't keep this up and do all these other jobs and be there for my children. So I'm like, like maybe this will work out. So I went ahead and resigned from two out of the three towns. And so I started driving for them. Then they got rid of a couple of guys because they kept on messing up and everything else. And I went from escorting to like hauling this stuff on my own now, and it's all agriculture stuff. It's all John Deere equipment. We
Mhm.
haul from like I've hauled from like little lawnmowers to big old combines and 9Rs and stuff like that, and cotton pickers. Like yesterday, we hauled a John Deere sprayer all the way from South Texas to Fort Worth area. It was like one of the longest trips we went on, but it was pretty neat,
That's awesome.
and
So
learning
can you?
how to like drive all of that equipment too.
Right. Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
I'm in $1 million equipment, driving it on and off this trailer and stuff like that. It's pretty legit, and I couldn't be happier. Like I'm so glad I found that job and stuff, and where I'm always on the road, like never sitting still, always on the go, and like
Right. So
hauling and
if it's your personality.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
chaining, binding, strapping on the road. Like I don't
So
know, kind of
now,
rough, rough on the edges a bit.
so let me ask you: is it all tractor trailers, or is it pickups and and long trailer goosenecks, or and can you
Goosenecks.
explain a little bit about hotshot trucking? Because there was a question earlier from Samantha. She wanted to know what hotshot was.
If anybody needs anything like delivered that you couldn't normally ship through FedEx, UPS, I mean, that's how all FedEx and UPS, that is all hot shot. Like they all started as these like little companies and it's turned into more things and stuff. But like, hauling parts and stuff. A lot of the hotshot companies down here move stuff around like equipment for oil field and stuff. Like that's what I thought hotshot was just oil field stuff because that's all we have down here. And then whenever I got into this particular company, we were hauling nothing but like farm equipment, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like I've being on a tractor is like awesome. I don't know. I should have been a boy, Big Papa. I should have been a boy. Because this isn't normal girl stuff, I don't think. But like, yeah, I'm a ballerina on Thursdays, and then the rest of the days of the week, I am in an 18 wheeler F-350. Either I'm pulling a gooseneck. I pulled a 45-foot header trailer. Like the header trailer is like what they put the front part of the combines on, so
Hmm.
they can move the front part and stuff, and just haul the actual combine. And that thing was like the longest thing I ever pulled. Like go measure 45 feet and pulling that down like a super busy highway and stuff like that. That was insane to me. I couldn't even look behind me. I was so nervous. I'm
Oh, I
like,
can
if I
imagine.
don't see it, I'm solid.
I can imagine. I mean, I've driven box trucks, 30-foot box trucks, dump trucks,
Hmm.
and I was a yard jockey for a warehouse. So I used to
Hmm.
back the 48 footers and 50-foot trailers. So I can imagine, going down a highway.
Yeah, like the only trailer I've ever pulled before is like this small, like the U-Haul cargo little box trailers. I would use
Correct.
that with my balloon business to haul most of the balloons inflated and stuff, so I didn't have to do so much on the job site. So that's all I've known, like to back up and like is this little box trailer. So whenever they're like, I need you to go pick up this gooseneck trailer, I need you to haul it from Houston back to where we're at. And I'm like, I've never even connected one before. And they're like, well, you're just gonna have to learn. And I like pulled up, dropped the tailgate, backed up right to it. I lowered the jacks right onto the hitch. I turned that pin thing and I locked it into place. I put the chains on it, and then what is that cable thing? I'm telling you, I don't know jack shit. They're just putting me in this stuff, and like go ahead. And so like there's
Yeah.
like this thing for emergency
The
something. So
emergency
if the
brake cable.
trailer, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. So if
The
the
emergency
trailer
brake cable. Yeah.
disconnects, it'll like stop the trailer from moving, except for it just rolling while you're going this way, the trailer's going that way. It'll actually stop. But
Correct.
yeah, no, I hooked up to it, and the first thing I had to do as soon as I pulled out of that parking lot was shoot across the highway, which oncoming traffic going to Houston, and then the median in between the two roads isn't even long enough for that trailer, much less the truck. So I'm just
Hmm.
like I had to make sure everything was clear for me to go all the way across. And my boss was like, look, I'll be in that area in like 2 hours. If you just want to sit on the side of the road until I get there and I'll block off the traffic with the 18 wheeler, then you can go. And I was like, I'll see what I can do. And I'm in the truck, and they have the dash cam, and they literally watched it back to see how I was going to like be able to handle it. And I'm like,
Right.
fuck it. And I put the car in drive, and I've like fucking shot across the highway. It was fine, but I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
And so people that don't know, the front of the combine goes on the trailer long. parallel with the truck. Am I
Right.
correct? So
Yes.
it's not sticking way out over the sides because they can become really wide.
No, when we do the whole combine, not just the
Mm-hmm.
header goes long ways on the trailer, but the whole machinery, we have I like I said, I don't know a lot yet. Um, but it's the flatbed that's behind the thing, and I'm sure someone will fill me in. Like the gooseneck part of the trailer disconnects, so the whole front part of the trailer sits flat like this. We pull out these slide outs. The trailer's about 10 feet wide. We
Mm-hmm.
can pull those slide outs to about 15 on each
A
side.
drop
So
deck
as
trailer.
yes, and so we like thank you, Phil. So we pull that up on there, and yeah, no, we're 2 lanes wide.
Oh, I'm sure.
Two lanes
I'm
wide.
sure.
Like there's
Combines are not narrow at all. So
no, and they're like one of the heaviest things that we haul. But the cotton pickers, have you ever seen one of those?
no, I've not
Those
seen one in
look
real life.
insane. And like the whole windshield, like you're sitting like this, and it's nothing but glass from like the top to where your feet are, and you're just sitting there and like you're sitting up so high. It's nerve wracking, but he makes me get in that thing and I have to load it up, back it up on the trailer, and he sits in front and is telling me like to turn the wheel, and I stand still and I hold that wheel, and when he goes like this, like I turn it that way and I keep that wheel that way until he starts pointing the other way, or if I have to turn it more. And it's it's insane. It's I don't know, they're brave for having me do it, because I'm
Right.
telling you, I've never done this shit before. Like, I don't know. I guess I have the balls to do it because I'm like, fuck it, whatever. If like I tip this thing off the trailer, I'm just gonna go with it. So yeah.
Right. Right. And I want to take a second and thank everybody for being here, tapping on the screen. We're up to 12.5K likes. So so what else what other kind of equipment have you guys hauled besides
Well, oh,
the
okay.
combines and the pickers and
The
and you
well,
said small garden tractors too sometimes. And
small,
the
but
other
there's
part
the
of it,
really large ones that are like the 8R and the like 7, like the 5 series was one of the ones I got to like get in and like um move
thank you for
into
the
the
follow.
Houston rodeo. We delivered all the tractors, all the gators and stuff that they
Mm,
used during that event, and that event is huge. It was about 100 gators themselves that we had to take up there, and then all the different series of tractors and stuff, because they use all of that to drag the stage out into the middle of the arena, drag it back out. They had all their tractors on display and stuff like that. And so we were moving mass amounts of tractors and stuff. And the first one, major one that I got to drive by myself, and they didn't even tell me how to do it. They're just like, fuck it, just get in it and fucking move it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, you wanted this job, get in there and move that tractor. And so I'm like, starting it up, and I'm like, whatever, throw it in, like, put it in high, and I just like take off and stuff. But it was the 5 series, and then I've been in a 7 series, which has like the cab around it. And then
correct.
they have like the 8Rs, and then the 9Rs is what we had to move that plower off the trailer yesterday. That 9R, like the tires on that are about this wide, like they're huge, and then
Right.
they have like a gap about the same amount, and then they have the dualed out. So this thing is like really fucking wide, really heavy, and they pull some shit. And
Uh-huh.
we had to use that yesterday, and I held my breath the entire time, because I mean we had to like really rig some stuff up to get that plower off that trailer last night.
Oh,
we
I'm
we
sure.
we were on the road for 14 hours yesterday,
Wow.
and I'm the
Now,
only girl that works for the company. I think I'm the only girl that actually hot shots and moves John Deere equipment for any of these transportation companies. So they automatically think that my boss that I'm always with, that he has to be my husband, because who would have a girl just working for them? And so they're like, "Oh, your husband's truck is so nice." I'm like, "Thank you." But yeah, it's quite funny being a girl in the industry, because they people wouldn't think, you know.
Right. So now you said that being a girl in the industry, have you taken any slack or any flack for being a girl in the industry?
Um, yes, yes, like the guys are hard on me. The guys that I work with, um, sometimes like my boss will open the door for me and wait for me to walk through, and then there's some days I think he like it's like she's my employee. He treats me. He calls me a little boy sometimes because the way I am and stuff, like I don't let them baby me. So part of them not babying me, he won't even open the door and stuff for me. And it like seeing other people's reactions to that, especially down in the South, is hysterical because we'll be at truck stops and men will just wait for like 5, 10 minutes till I get all the way to the door, holding the door open for me to go through. And then when my boss walks through the door, he open and just walks right through. And then I'm having to catch the door and open it because, he ain't gonna wait for me. He's got to use the restroom himself.
Right.
It's quite funny. And then yeah, their wives and stuff. There was a guy that worked for the company, and his wife had the biggest problem with him, me working there, and him like being there, and me being the only girl and stuff. Like, I got to do what I got to do, and like I'm rough. Like I shoot the shit. Like I don't know. I wouldn't say like a dude, but I am like.
Mm,
You see me in the lives and stuff. Like, I'm not a flirtatious person. I'll tell you to go fuck yourself before I actually like I don't know, accept a compliment or anything like that.
correct. 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 And that's part of, you know, the industry you're in, being a hotshot trucker, it has to be like that. Kind of
Yeah.
feral.
I was dating a couple months ago and a guy that I went on a date with, he didn't know what I did until we were on a date and he's like, "No, that's so unattractive." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "You being an 18 wheeler all the time, like he's like, no one's gonna want to be with you." And I was like, "Really? Like no one's gonna want to be with me because I'm a hot
You
shotter?
make it,
That's insane to
yeah,
me."
you're making a living. Either way, I mean,
Yeah.
what does it matter if you're working in a truck or you're working in an office? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I mean, anybody can do any kind of job. It doesn't matter. As long as you have the license and you can do the job, what is the difference?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I was more of a man than he was, and I always say that too. Like my son's father, like I have three boys. One's by one man from one man, and the other two are from someone else. And I always say I'm more of a man than both of those dudes put together because of the type of work I do. Like I work my ass off,
Hmm.
and I don't know. It's funny. It's funny to me.
Yeah.
I try not to talk shit, but yeah. I'm a
Yeah.
more of
It's,
a man than they are. It's good. I like it.
hey, I mean, if you enjoy what you do, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So back to what we were talking about before with the commercials and stuff like that. What is the most memorable commercial that you've done? The one that stands out the most that you remember the most?
Midas.
The Midas one? Okay.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about it made it stand out for you and made it,
Um,
stick with you?
I don't know. I was in high school at the time and like I don't know, the kids at that time gave me a hard time about like modeling and stuff like that. And then whenever I got this commercial, everybody knew in high school and stuff. And so that one stuck out to me because I got the most flack for it, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what other stuff have you done? Like, I know we talked about a little bit the commercials that you've done. Um, didn't you say something along the lines of you've done like a Hawaiian Tropics commercial
Yeah.
or something like that?
No, I used to be a part of the Hawaiian Tropic Girls, and I was a part of the Texas bikini team. We would travel around, and it was I don't know. We've done photo shoots. I was in a calendar, a couple posters, like even those calendars that it has a picture on top, and then it has like all the little papers of the
Yeah,
dates underneath it,
the
in garages and stuff like that. Like
yeah, the toolbox
mechanic shops,
calendars.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
I've owned a couple of those. I'm sure. Like I went to a restaurant today, and I looked at one wall, and it used to be a sports bar and stuff in the town that I've lived in. I used to be on a poster in my bikini on that one wall, and I looked at it today. I just like kind of shook my head and just walked off. I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't believe. But like, I don't know. I'm been a pretty shy person my entire life, and I didn't want to keep hold myself back from doing anything. So like anything and everything that I had to like push myself, like I've done it
Mm.
because I feel like I wouldn't be living if I just tried to like I don't know, keep myself like this all the time.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
if I'm sure you met my sister before. Like she's outgoing, like has a personality like no other, and like
Mm.
I've always hid behind her, and then like so like I've really pushed myself to be more like her and outgoing and stuff like that.
Right. Now you said in September you're starting to you want to start up your own dance studio.
Mhm. Mhm.
So are you looking to do competitions with the studio, or are you just looking
I
to start out slowly or
slowly, yeah, it's something I always wanted to do, but I worked for a company that was pretty affordable, like dance classes for the kids and stuff, and I'm like, man, I can't top that. And like I don't know, some changes with the company has changed, and like dance kept on going up and stuff, and it wasn't that affordable for the kids and stuff. And dance studios, like they charge a
hmm
lot,
I
like
know a couple
from
years
like
ago it was
200 to five
fifteen
hundred
hundred.
dollars yeah. And
Yeah, it was
so like
1,500 for 6 months.
I want to teach dance to everyone. Like I don't care what people have, don't have. Like I treat kids all the same. That's like one of the things that parents have had problems with me because I don't give a shit. Like you can kiss my ass, you can not kiss my ass. I'm gonna treat you the same. Like I would prefer you just to like leave me alone and just teach your kid dance. Like I'm I don't like people that are like that. And everybody has a chance to be like in the spotlight or in the front
Mm.
line, and they change lines and stuff like that. And a lot of parents feel like their kids should be in the front and stuff. And me, I just don't care if you can dance, can't dance. Like I'm gonna teach any and everyone. So I'm setting up fundraisers and stuff like that for my kids, and they're just going to be paying me to teach, and then the rest of the stuff we're fundraising. Like I'm not taking extra money from them. I would say I'm trying to make dance so affordable that anybody can do it. I would say less than $50 a month for these parents to get their kids in the dance class, and that's a lot. Like
Correct.
way 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 cheap. And but I just wanted to give everybody the opportunity to be in dance class. Like we were very fortunate growing up. Like my parents had us in anything and everything besides sports with me. Like I wasn't allowed to play sports, but I had all these opportunities that other kids don't have. And even with my friends now, like I won't even talk about my childhood and stuff because their childhood was so bad. And I'm like, like these kids shouldn't go through what they have to go through, especially with parents nowadays. It's not the same. And, you know, anything that I can do to give them that opportunity, I will.
And that's nice. I mean, growing up, my parents put me in tap when I was real
Hmm.
young. So I did tap for a short period of time, but
I love that.
like you said, it gets to a point where some parents aren't fortunate enough to
Right.
keep it going. So I was
No,
able to do, a short stint, and then, I
like
wasn't able to do
even
it anymore.
the costumes and stuff, we do fundraisers for all of that too. So like I don't know. Like, there's no way. And I'm not. it's not my, this is how I'm going to make a living. This is my get rich scheme or anything like that. This is like, I don't know.
You're
It's
making
more of a
dance affordable
sacrifice
for
for
everybody.
me to do
Hmm.
it than, yeah, but I mean, it's my passion. It's all I've known and all I've ever wanted to do was teach girls dance or boys, but it's mostly just girls that I teach dance.
Right. I mean, you're making it more affordable for everybody to be able to have that opportunity,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, I love it.
Once again, thank you everybody for being here, tapping the screen. I appreciate you. I see Bayou Cast came in, and Iowa Bourbon Hunter, and there was a couple others that stopped in, Jared, and I appreciate everybody stopping in. We're talking with Texas Dees about hotshot trucking, dance, acting, modeling, all that the jazz that she's done.
Hmm.
And so, do you think that the hotshot trucking is a thing that you're going to continue to do even with the dance studio open? I know you say that it's not going to, you're not going to get rich from it. You're just trying to make sure everybody can have an
Dance, yeah.
opportunity to dance.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, I love being on the road and like hot shotting. Like I was off on Thursday and I did this big O event, decorated for it, did all the balloon arches. I made columns and everything else. I blew up close to 1,000 balloons on Thursday, and I messaged the guys that night, and I'm like, I would rather do the hot shot and be on the road all day long than like do those balloons again. Like them to even hire me on and like take someone that's never done this stuff before and it's just kind of just like, okay, you can do it. Here's your salary. Like I'm able to take care of my kids and stuff like that. I don't I signed off on child support from for all three of my kids. Like I take care of my kids on my own. I don't get help from anybody else. Like
mhm,
I do it. And like it is such a flex for me and to even have a job where I don't even have to stress and worry about any other thing but this, and then for them to let me have that opportunity to have that day off and stuff to teach dance during dance season is like amazing. So like there's no way I see myself leaving this company or this line of work.
mhm.
But like it's so much fun. I mean, it's John Deere tractors. What else would you want to be in?
Right. I agree. I agree. I mean, I enjoy messing around with tractors and equipment myself, so I get it. I understand. Take us on the balloon arch journey that you do.
Oh man, it started off me just like my nieces had birthday parties and stuff like that, and I would invite like girlfriends over. We would be drinking, and I would have them blow up balloons and stuff
Hmm.
by like each like by mouth and stuff, and I would tie these balloons up, and then I started like making arrangements out of it, and then like I was in a pretty bad situation with the father of my kids, and um, I left him and finally was able to get out of that situation. And I needed something to do to be able to afford diapers and formula. And
Hmm.
I bought a balloon pump off of Amazon and I started just putting together these arrangements every weekend and selling them. And I got pretty good at them. And like there's a pump where it has like two nozzles on there and just air it up and then tie the things together and arrange it. And like I've done so many, so many, and like from like 60 balloons to like 1,000 on Thursday. Like
Yeah.
I've always said like even Cambo, I'm supposed to teach Cambo how to like do these balloon arrangements and stuff because I like it helped me because like that paycheck to paycheck and then the in between like I needed that in between money to help carry me through me and my
Hmm.
kids and stuff, and I always said like I would love to teach people how to do it because it's so easy the what you need to even do it is super cheap. Like balloons are cheap and stuff, and like
Hmm.
so like I've always said like if anybody wants to learn how like to have a small business and stuff like that, I'm willing to teach them how to make those arrangements and everything because it's not much. It doesn't take a lot, and people are like, "I'm not that creative." Well, it's not that hard to like, when you're little, making a bracelet and like doing a color pattern and stuff like that. I kind of just do that with balloons. I'm like, okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna do this color, these colors, and then sort them together and stuff like that. And then popping them things is like so much fun. It's good target practice.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm sure. So, so do you do the balloon arrangements often?
I was until I got on with this hotshot company and
Mm.
with me working full time in that salary, like I don't have to do all this extra stuff anymore. And then just now I can just spend time with my family, my kids, and stuff like that, and not have to worry about where our next meal is coming from.
And that's great to hear, that you were able to get to that spot now to where you don't have to worry about it and you're able to, do it when you want to
Right.
versus when you need to do it.
Yeah, I can like pick and choose, like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Like, nah, I ain't gonna message them people back. I don't feel
Hmm.
like it and stuff like that. Like, no, I was doing a lot. Cutting hair and everything else just to make sure I had can make ends meet.
You got to do what you got to do, and
But
that's
you know what?
understandable.
I never had to borrow money from people ever. Like
Right.
I've always been able to handle my stuff, and whenever I had absolutely nothing, like would do is get on Facebook and just look for work. And I mean, it is so easy. Like, hey, does anybody need a haircut? I do makeup. Like I was doing hair and makeup for prom and everything else, and then those balloon arrangements and like having specials with that. Like I was able to take care of what I needed to take care of for my kids.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, it boils down to how much you actually want to hustle to
Absolutely.
not be where, in the situation that you're in.
Right.
So, and that's a beautiful thing, and, it's great to hear that you're able to talk about these things now and not have to be a sad time to
Oh,
discuss it,
definitely not. Definitely
you know?
not. Come through like I've went through so much stuff and like being on this end of it. Like I don't know, Papa. Like there's some stuff that you would be really surprised about the stuff that I went through and like if you had met me like even this time last year or 2 years ago, definitely not who I am today. Like,
Right.
you know, I was suicidal. I was very depressed. I had anxiety real bad. I still have PTSD and everything else and the stuff like that I had to take care of and stuff like it was very overwhelming and stuff and like I got the help that I needed. I like went and saw doctors. I was in the gym all the time. Like I should be in the gym now, but I've had to take a break because I've been sick for the last 2 months with allergies. I can't get over this pollen and stuff that's going on down here in South Texas. But like even Dutch, she was in the comments earlier. She'll even tell you like this is not who I was then. I was such a broken person and like I took care of the things I needed to take care of for my children, but I didn't want to exist anymore. And so, like, for me to be where I'm at and happy and like take like me doing that one dance town and then having this job and everything else, it's like night and day, night and day how I was then.
That's good. That's good. And, I'm glad to see that you're able to, you know, be excited about stuff and, want to do things and be happy about it.
Yeah.
And, and I'm glad to see that you're enjoying doing the hot shotting and enjoying, you know, having
Hmm.
fun and being feral sometimes, as Phil said. And
Definitely. That's
So,
great.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I think that's about it for this episode. And I thank you for coming on and explaining everything and
Yeah,
going over all this stuff. And I appreciate you very much.
no
And
problem.
I hope that everything keeps looking up for you and you keep having a, great outcome on a lot of things.
I appreciate it.
And
Got to keep on keeping on.
that's for sure. That's for sure.
Pretty
Alrighty.
sure that's a John Deere quote. I mean, not a John Deere. What is it? Joe Dirt. Joe
Joe
Dirt
Dirt.
quote.
Yep.
Got to keep
Joe Dirt
on
quote.
keeping on.
Yeah,
All right. Thanks
absolutely.
for having me up.
No problem. Thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate it. And as you
Ah,
know, this live will also be posted on YouTube, and
mm,
all the links are in my bio. This episode was actually sponsored by preetliquors.com. Their website is also in my bio. If you guys are looking for any adult beverage juice, you can go check that link out. And again, I thank you for being here and taking
no
your time
problem.
out to talk with us. And I hope you have a great evening.
You too. Bye,
All
y'all.
right. Bye bye. Everybody, I appreciate you all being here. Thank you for being here, tapping the screen, hanging out with us on Bar Talks with Big. And again, this episode was sponsored by Preet Liquors. And everybody, I hope you have an amazing evening.